Throughout the United States, there are 3.2 million English learners. 1.4 million of those students are populated in California alone, and the majority of them are native Spanish speakers. California schools before 1998 used to implement bilingual programs where classes were taught in a child's native tongue 90% of the day. But by 1998, California constituents voted on Proposition 227. Proposition 227 requires all public school classes in the state to be taught in English. Students who speak limited English would be taught in special one-year immersion classes and then return to regular courses with other native English speakers. This could be waived if parents or guardians show that their child already knows English or has special needs or would learn English faster through an alternative instructional technique. This proposition was passed with 61% voting in its favor. Research expresses that those in favor of Proposition 227 believe that biculturalism threatens the status quo, which promotes the values and language of the dominant group. This is also known as a form of social reproduction. With the passing of Proposition 227, bilingual teachers who would pay more than monolingual teachers were reassigned schools or laid off to save money in their districts since bilingual education was no longer implemented in schooling. This was a great disparity for Spanish-speaking children. Mainstream teachers who took their places felt ill-prepared to meet the needs of English learners in their classrooms because they did not speak their native language. Some research shows how teachers, especially monolingual, were excited to have a new form of teaching students English. Many of these teachers felt that the duty of the school was solely to teach English learners how to speak, write, and read efficiently. Teachers report there is an attitude that, as long as the children are learning English, there is little concern if they learn anything else. Bilingual classroom teachers believe that the limitation on native language instruction greatly impaired their ability to teach effectively. Some of these teachers feel that if they could use more Spanish, especially for reading, the kids could connect more. And if they were allowed to use their first language, the parents could be much more supportive of the education program at home. In many cases, structured English immersion programs, also known as SEI programs, may be effective or may be the best alternative when bilingual programs are not feasible. But that is a far cry from saying that the research supports SEI as the most effective approach. Despite the potential effectiveness of structured English immersion and its numerous implementations, it has failed to live up to the English-only proponents' false claim that English learning students can reach full English proficiency in 1 year's time. Additionally, students in some research have gained positive attitudes towards English and negative attitudes towards Spanish because English is the primary language in America. At a very young age, children already sense a stigma of their native language. This leads to a disconnect or defacing of their culture. Students are asked to assimilate to American culture, pre-assuming that they were never a part of it. A personal testimony from a child in kindergarten stated that,
I came to the United States and walked in with my maleta, and it was filled with all my treasures, my language, my experiences, my stories. But when I got to kindergarten, they didn't even let me bring my maleta into the classroom.
Most students feel that they cannot bring their culture with them into the classroom. They feel as if they can never truly express themselves or their culture. Overall, we see from research that since the elimination of bilingual education and the implementation of structured immersion programs, there is not a significant effectiveness of this program towards English learning students.